night 2, and hopefully we fix the audio problems from night 1. It's your boy Icon, back with night 2 of WWE SummerSlam, live from New Jersey in the heart of the shadows of New York City, whatever you want to call it. So check out my part 1 review. Again, I apologize for the audio on that one, but check out my part 1 review for night 1 of SummerSlam. I called it WrestleMania like 50 million times, but this is part 2 of SummerSlam, and hopefully part 2 will be better than part 1. Part 1 had a good ending, but I wasn't really too thrilled with all the stuff that came before the main event. But but the ending was good. The ending was good. So let's get started, because I think we're gonna kick this one off with Women's World Heavyweight Championship action. We're not kicking it off with Becky Lynch, because I usually always start with Becky Lynch. But let's start with some women's action as we talk about night 2 of SummerSlam. So the first match was the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match. Naomi, as Wade Barrett likes to say, versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Naomi, now I'm calling her that. Naomi came out with her daddy playing the guitar, and that was actually pretty cool and pretty badass. There was this one fan in the front row that every time Naomi got thrown out of the ring, he was like standing up and giving a standing ovation. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't know, maybe he just wants to see Rhea versus Io, who knows. It was a good back and forth, and it's like every single time I feel bad for Rhea Ripley in this regard, that every time she tries to get a championship match, there's always like a third person added, and the third person, and like there's always a third person and Io Sky, and I don't know why Io keeps getting plugged into this, because she's always the one that keeps losing like every single time. But no, it was a good match. Naomi showed why she belongs and why she's the Women's World Champion, and then after a riptide off the top rope, and which was hard. Like, it was like a hard riptide off the top rope when she came crashing down. Naomi, she got the sneak on Rhea Ripley. She got a handful of tights. She grabbed all the tights. Like, Naomi grabbed the tights. She grabbed the panties. she grabbed everything possible and got that 1, 2, 3 victory. And it felt like a WrestleMania victory for Naomi. It didn't even feel like a SummerSlam. So this is a big win for her, a big win for her career. And Rhea and Io are done now, so she needs to fight somebody. Like Naomi needs to fight somebody else now. She needs a new champion. She needs a new challenger for her championship, because Rhea done. And I don't know where Rhea gonna go from here, but we don't care, because Naomi is still the Women's World Heavyweight Champion. So the next match was the crash test dummy match of the pay-per-view. And if you watch Jim Cornette or listen to Jim Cornette's podcast, if he does watch this, he's gonna absolutely hate it. Rest in peace, Candice LeRae. So now it was the tables, ladders, and chairs match. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and the Dudley Boys were at ringside to watch this. The entire SmackDown Tag Team division was involved. It was Axiom, the Street Profits, the Wyatt Six, who are the current champions, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns, along with Rey Fénix and Andrade. So it started the way you would expect it to start, tables, ladders, and chairs, oh my. Like a lot of people going through some stuff, going through some ladders. But there was a moment where the ladder, like everybody was down, like everybody was beat up, everybody was down. And then Candice LeRae showed up, and then she tried to help Johnny up, and Johnny was like, forget about me, go get the titles. So now she's going up the ladder to try to get the titles. And then B-Fab showed up. B-Fab, beautiful ring gear by B-Fab. B-Fab showed up, she started fighting Candice LeRae. And then when she knocked Candice LeRae down, then she tried to climb the ladder to get the belts for the Street Profits. And then Nikki Cross, she showed up, and she took out B-Fab. And that was another thing. Since when all of a sudden, because the YS6 been around for a minute, since when all of a sudden we're bringing up their past, and like, because the whole time Michael Cole was like, yeah, that's Nikki Cross. She did this, like last year, and that was Joe Gacy. He used to run a cult, and Dexter Lumis was a loner. And I'm like, now all of a sudden we bringing up their backstory. These people have been around for almost 2 years now. Yeah, you never bring up their backstory. Now you bringing up their backstory. So then Candice LeRae, she gets back up. She's on top of the ladder. And then Johnny's holding the ladder steady for her so she can grab the titles. And then they push, I think it was Montez Ford. He pushed Tommaso Ciampa into Johnny. Johnny knocked over the ladder. Candice fell off the top of the ladder and went crashing through another ladder, and that shit broke in half. And to the point where everybody thought that woman was dead. There was like 7 referees that came running over to help Candice LeRae when she fell off that ladder. We never saw B-Fab again, but then the rest of the Wyatt Six, came in. Redbeard, he got whooped on by the Street Profits. Bo Dallas came in. They called him Bo Dallas. They didn't call him Uncle. They called him Uncle Howdy, but they called him Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas came in. Like he got beat up for his trouble. Nathan Frazier, this motherfucker was everywhere. He was literally going everywhere. That Rey Fénix frog splash was dope. But in the end, because it was basically 5 on everyone else. Thanks to the numbers, the Wyatt Six climbed the ladder and they retained the WWE Tag Team Championships, and they were booed when it was just Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy and they were about to grab the Tag Team Championships. The crowd legitimately booed them, so I don't think they were a fan of the Wyatt Six winning this match. Maybe they wanted the Street Profits, maybe they wanted DIY. Who knows? Who knows what they wanted in Jersey? But that was it. The Wyatt Six, they're still the WWE Tag Team Champions, and we'll see, we'll see out of the 9 teams that they fought, which one of them now is gonna fight them going forward on SmackDown. Next up was the match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, which is being treated as though it's a heavyweight title, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. And I was a little disappointed that Lyra didn't come out with a bird costume. And because she did not come out with a bird costume, I was just like, I hope this doesn't mean she's going to lose. This was basically a hardcore match where the two of them used every single thing under the sun. There's no disqualification. And between them using chairs and tables and the stairs and all this other stuff, when Becky had put Lyra inside of a chair and then she was going to smash the chair with a crowbar, then Bayley came out of nowhere and decided to break it up. So I'm just like, so all the shit that they did to each other throughout the course of the entire match, the crowbar is now where we draw the line. So Bayley comes out, and then Becky had the nerve. She was just like, oh, Lyra's responsible for all this. Lyra did all this. Then she had the nerve to throw up the 4 fingers. And I'm just like, first of all, the 4 horsemen thing, that's not even real. Like, that's a myth. But but then it turned into a thing where Bayley, she told Bayley, she gave Bayley the crowbar, and she was like, take out Lyra, because she's responsible. And then Bayley was like, no. She was like, this is all your fault. And then the two of them started fighting. So then they get back into it. Becky throws Bayley over the barricade, and then Lyra comes off the top rope, with a leg drop through a table. It gets back into the ring. And then because of Bayley's buffoonery, Becky Lynch was able to capitalize and retain the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And this now means that Lyra can never challenge for the Intercontinental Championship as long as Becky is champion. So this either means that Lyra is going to get drafted to SmackDown, or she's going to go after Naomi. She's probably going to be Naomi's next challenger. And actually, that'd be a good match. Like, if we get Lyra Valkyria versus Naomi, at like Clash at the Castle or something, like, because I think that is the next pay-per-view that's coming up, like the overseas pay-per-view. So like in France or Paris, whatever the hell the next one is. So if we get Lyra, no, she's supposed to fight Stephanie Valkyrie because she won the Battle Royal. Okay, never mind. So, yeah, I don't know what Lyra gonna do. So maybe they'll just move Lyra over to SmackDown, and the Bayley-Becky beef will continue, and they'll probably fight at the Castle for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch has new theme music, which it took long enough because you can't have the fans singing along. You're supposed to be a heel. So, like I said, kudos to Becky Lynch. She retained, and we're moving on. Next up is the United States Championship inside of a steel cage. It's your boy Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa and the entire family tree. And this is a theme. Like, throughout the entire, like I said, yesterday's pay-per-view night 1 was the wrestling show, the pure wrestling show. Tonight is the garbage show. Like, tonight is the interference, the no DQs, the tables, the weapons, the chairs, everybody family member jumping in, because for the love of God, Jacob Fatu got beat up by the entire family tree during the match. And the only person he had to help him out was Jimmy Uso, like Big Jim. And I still feel like in the end, they tried to handcuff him, to the gate, didn't work, but eventually the numbers game got to them. Solo crawled out of the cage, and Solo Sikoa retains the United States Championship, as he should, because he just won the damn thing, and he needs to have like a decent run. In my opinion, it's gonna, because again, I'll say this again, because Jimmy Uso was the only person in the entire Bloodline storyline for the last 3 years. He's the only person who hasn't captured any singles gold. Like, he's going to be the one to take the United States Championship off of Solo Sikoa eventually. And then he'll probably lose to like Carmelo Hayes or something. But I mean, they said adding the steel cage factor to it, I guess, was supposed to provide some oomph to the match, but it also gave Solo a way to cheat his ass off. And like I said, Solo just got the belt, so he defended it against Jimmy Uso at Saturday Night's Main Event, but he wasn't going to lose it right back to Jacob Fatu, who, right here, especially not with the new crew and everything. He's going to go for a little bit, like I said, but he should lose the Big Jim in the end. But that was pretty much it. The Samoans still have a stranglehold on the United States Championship title picture. Solo Sikoa is still your champion, and we'll see what happens on SmackDown. Next, we have the Intercontinental Championship. So, 3 middleweight titles on one show: the women's IC, the men's IC, and the men's US title, all in the same show. Like, the first show really didn't have any title matches, but and when did we start cheering for Dominic Mysterio? There was even the Dirty Dom chant. Like, come on, that belongs to Cody. It was the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles, you don't want none, versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. And AJ came out dressed in Eddie Guerrero's attire and coming out with his son in a lowrider. And they said that the tights that AJ was wearing, the Eddie Guerrero-inspired tights, those were the same tights that Eddie wore when he wrestled Rey Mysterio for custody of Dominic Mysterio. So a little mind games by AJ Styles. There was even some lying, cheating, and stealing that was being attempted, where Dominic took the turnbuckle off the corner, and then when the referee went to put the turnbuckle back on, he went and got a chair, but then he smacked the chair on the floor, threw it to AJ to pretend like he got hit, the old Eddie Guerrero gag, and then AJ took the chair and put it on his own head, and he fell on the floor, and the referee was just like, okay, who hit who, and then they started arguing. But in the end, then they tried the WrestleMania spot where he tried to take his boot off and everything, but Dominic got his boot off, bust AJ in the head with the boot, hit him with the frog splash, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio is once again retained as your Intercontinental Champion. I think the person who needs to take the belt off of Dominic, honestly, is Penta. I believe Penta versus Dominic Mysterio would be a really good match, and the people will pop for Penta when he becomes, Intercontinental Champion. So I'm looking forward to, hopefully, eventually Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. But kudos to Dirty Dom, who's retained for the Judgment Day, the Intercontinental Championship. And finally, for the WWE Heavyweight Champion, with adrenaline in his soul, once again, your champion, Cody Rhodes. And this was a street fight, and I'm surprised because the fact that it was a street fight, I thought Cena was going to basically say that he pulled a ruse on the audience and he really was turning heel. He was going to have somebody interfere, or he was going to just do some dastardly shit. I felt like the street fight gave Cena an out to not lose the title. And, and as a New Yorker, I can say this, New York, New Jersey, Tri-State, whoever, y'all ain't shit for booing Cody Rhodes when he came out. New York was the epicenter of hating John Cena and booing John Cena. Now y'all cheering this man like y'all been down with him since day one. We all remember the ECW pay-per-view when y'all threw his t-shirt back in his face. But anyway, so, and they did everything. Cena actually, stuck to his, his face turn. He shook Cody's hand, he hugged him before the match, and the two of them went at it. They hit each other with everything, including the kitchen sink. There was even a moment where Cody took the bottom rope off and was beating the shit out of John Cena with the bottom rope, the steel part of the bottom rope. And I'm happy to see that, because with the WrestleMania thing, Cody came up short at WrestleMania because he didn't have it in him to use weapons, or he didn't have it in him to cheat, or to do dastardly shit. Here he was like, fuck that, I'm beating him with tables, ladders, chairs, belts, hammers, and, but the two of them showed how badly they wanted it and how badly they wanted to reign as champion, because he hit him, Cody hit Cena with 3 crossroads. There was a moment where John Cena did an AA off the top rope to Cody Rhodes, and both guys kicked out of that. And usually for both of those men, when the two of them do those specific moves, that's it. That's usually game over. That seals the deal. That's the final blow, the final straw, and both of them kicked out of it. And then finally, Cena decided, he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do an AA off the top rope into a chair. Cody, I did the Cody cutter, we'll just call it the Cody cutter, through the table, got him through the table, and then, when he put him through the table, Cena was holding his face, and then Cody got him at the crossroads, and he hit him with one final crossroads, got the pin on him, and Cody Rhodes is once again the WWE champion. And again, New York, y'all ain't shit, because y'all was booing my man Cody Rhodes, and then y'all kind of cheered, I guess, when Cody, hugged Cena, and the two of them embraced each other. But nah, like I said, it's Cody Rhodes. So the quarterback is back. He's back in full effect, and I said I'm happy to say, because John Cena, he's gone. He's this fucking August. So August, September, October, November. He got 4 months left. And then he leaves. So He should retire. Like, his last match should honestly be a tribute to the troops, because that would embody like the John Cena character to a T. But no, so but we'll see what happens. So John Cena's a baby face again for whatever reason. All that Rock shit meant nothing. Cody Rhodes got the belt back, and we're all the better for it. So that was it. That was WWE SummerSlam Night 2, which was way better than Night 1. And for the love of God, thank you for tuning in. And it wasn't better because it had like the tables and the garbage matches and all the stipulations. That's not what made it better. I mean, like, the outcomes made more sense, like the storylines made more sense, but you know, but that 8-man tag, like, that shit was wild. But share your questions, comments, and concerns. Which did you think was better? Did you think Night 1 was better? Did you think Night 2 was better? Yes, John Cena addressed the audience when it was over. He got his flower so they can say goodbye to John Cena, get the thank you Cena chance. What do you think of SummerSlam as a whole? Are we sticking with 2 nights? Do you wish they'd go back to 1 night and we just sit here for 5 hours? Share your questions. Let's talk about it. Check me out on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube, where you can leave those questions, comments, and concerns. Where does everybody go from here? Now that Cody's the champion, who does he fight? Who does Jade Cargill fight? Who does Tiffany fight? What does Bianca do when Bianca comes back? What goes on with Jacob Fatu and the United States Championship? What about Becky Lynch now? Because does she go back to fighting Bayley? Like I said, share those questions, and let's continue to roll on for some more wrestling goodness. And check out Monday Night Raw. And also check out all my videos for my time last week at New York Swim Week Swimsuit Fashion Show 2025. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So till next time for some more wrestling action. I guess the castle in Paris, you can't see him for the last time, but he's right there. And until then, the captain's back. And then Brock Lesnar showed up. Yeah, so I guess if we're running down the line of challengers for people to wrestle, I guess Brock is next. Like, Brock Lesnar came out. I guess Brock is gonna be, because that's the thing. It's like, he already fought Randy Orton, he fought Cody Rhodes. John Cena basically fought everyone from his past so far. Like, he exercised all his demons and everything. So there was kind of like, with 4 months left, who do you fight? But I guess there's always Brock Lesnar. So Brock Lesnar showed up at SummerSlam, so I guess he beat those allegations. He beat all those allegations, and I guess it's safe for Brock to return. I wonder if they're gonna put his character in 2K25 in 2K25 now that he's here. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, none of us knows. Like, with the exception of Naomi versus Stephanie Vaquer, a lot of these storylines don't have a direction. Like, a lot of these storylines, even the Judgment Day with the women's tag, like, where does all this go? Like, what's the point? Like, are we getting a John Cena versus Brock Lesnar match? Well, this is what happened, like, when John Cena beat The Rock. Like, the next day, Brock Lesnar came and he fought Brock Lesnar at Extreme Rules. But like I said, share your questions, comments, and concerns down below. Let's continue to talk about it. And until then, for some more wrestling action, for some more entertainment in the world of sports and everything in between, take care. The Beast is back, and we're out this bitch.